Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to show you how I'm repressing matte eyeshadows without using alcohol or any other liquid. And I wanted to repress some eyeshadows in this palette here. This is the Sultry Palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. The shades I want to repress are Bloom, Birch, Dystopian and Noir. I want to mix these two together. And out of these two, I think I'm going to create 3 different shades, or at least 2, because the pans are quite full. This one here, I think I only used once. This one here is actually also still very full. These two are a bit on the lower side, so I think if I repress these two here together, then I have 1 pan for them. But these two here, I think it's too much product, so I'm going to create 2 different shades with them. So I'm not only going to show you how to repress matte eyeshadows, but also how to mix them and create the colors you want and then repress them without alcohol. So I would say let's hop right into it. So I brought some eyeshadows here that I wanted to use to mix and match the colors that I want. This one here is a single eyeshadow from Liesl Cosmetics and it's called Terminus. And it's this, I don't know, a bit of a deeper mauvey pinky tone. Then I do have this one here. It's basically a very dark reddish brown. It's called Checks and it's depotted from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. Then I have brought this one here. This is depotted from a Juvia's Place palette from the Masquerade palette. And I forgot the name of it. But the Masquerade palette only has 9 shades and it's the black shimmery eyeshadow. I thought that maybe I want to create a bit more of a satin shade. I don't really know what I want to do with it, but I'm just going to try it out. Then I did also bring my Blueberry Muffin palette because I want to get a lot of use out of this palette. And I thought maybe I want to use these 2 shades here, or maybe I do even want to mix in some of the blues. I haven't decided yet. I'm kind of curious, so I really want to get a bit experimental with my new shades. Then I did also bring my Riviera palette from ABH, and now that I see it, I'm not sure if I really want to use any of the shades in here. I think maybe the pink one or the purpley one. But yeah, I just have to see what I want to mix. And I would say now let's get into the mixing part because I'm super excited for it. Okay, I have zoomed you out a bit. What you need is a piece of paper, just like a plain white piece of paper. And the first thing we're going to do is take the palette and scratch out all of the matte eyeshadows that I want to repress together. So I don't know, maybe I'm starting with these 2 because I know I don't have to mix anything in with them. So I'm going to start with these. I'm going to zoom you in again, and then we will repress that one. I'm using this depotting tool here. It has 1 flat side and 1 pointed side, and that's pretty helpful, especially if you want to depot whole palettes. I take the pointed side and then I just start disturbing the little eyeshadow. I try to already make it into tiny, tiny pieces because that's basically the most important thing we have to do. It's to get it as small and smooth as possible. So I'm just doing it here in the pan now with this depotting tool, but we are also going to do it on the piece of paper. Okay, now that's what our pan is looking like. I'm going to clean it out later. Now I'm doing the same thing with this eyeshadow here, and then I will mix them together. Okay, now that it's looking like this, we're going to put it together with the black. Now that we have our eyeshadows here, we have to really see that it's like a super finely mild powder. So we have to really try to at first get them together and mix them, and also to really immerse it down to a finely milled powder. And it's good if you use something like this, just a card that is made of plastic and sturdy. Nothing of paper because I think it would be too not strong enough. Oh, I have now black everywhere. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just using this card here. It's like my Rituals membership card. You know, Rituals is this brand that makes a lot of body care stuff. I love them. Okay, never mind. I do now have this as an app, so I don't need the card anymore. So please don't take your, I don't know, driver's license or something important. Okay, and now it's pretty smooth. I'm now going to mix it together. I think I'm taking my depotting tool for that. Okay, I think that's enough. Now I'm just doing another round. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. What we have to do now is to work in small layers. So we need at least, I would say, 3 layers, better 4. And we just repress one layer in, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. And that way I find it to work best. So I'm going to clean my little pans here, and then I'm going to repress it into this pan here. Okay, so that's enough for our first layer. I know the lighting, the colors, it's not easy to see, but you will see it with the other shades then again. Now I'm taking a lipstick. This one here is from Catrice, and it has kind of a square top here, so I will use this part here to press it down, because I don't think that I have anything else that is square and small enough for this pen. I'm taking a little tissue, and I just need one layer of it. You can part them. Then I have here just one thin layer. I put it on top of it, and then I'm taking the lipstick. And I just see where the pen is, it's here. And then I'm just going inside and pressing down. Now we just take a look. That already looks pretty good. We just have to be careful that on the sides of the pen, it always it creeps up a bit, and that's not good, because that part is then the part that is too loose, and that will disturb our pen later, or it will make it a bit harder to work with it. So I'm trying to do it again, and I think what I'm trying now is that I'm going to take my fingers and not the lipstick. And that way I hope that I can get into the corners. So I try to press on the corners and not in the middle, so that we don't push out any of the product, because we want it to stay very put in the corners. Because as mentioned, that's the part where it would fall apart. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it, that's our first layer. And now we make one test, and it's a bad test, I know. Okay, first test is passed, so I would say we continue. I know it's a stupid test. It's like if you do if you bake something and you need to do the white of the eggs, and you have to mix it, and you know when it's stiff enough when you turn it around and it doesn't fall on the floor. I think this is as good a test of that one for baking. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just putting in the next bit of the product. Okay, so now that I have put in another layer, hope that you can see it maybe a bit here. I'm now going to press it down again with the same little tissue I have here, and I'm only going to use my hands now. Oh, they got pretty dirty pretty quick, but I mean it's like a dark brown on the black, so yeah, I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I actually love working with my fingers. That's why I also use shimmer eyeshadow basically only with my fingers. I just like feeling like the material. Okay, so now again I try to press down from the corners so that nothing gets pushed upwards. And yes, you really have to press hard. It's really important with matte eyeshadows especially. I feel like the Anastasia formula is pretty good for this kind of technique for repressing because it already is a very powdery formula with a lot of kick up, and I think it works pretty good with eyeshadows like this. I really do like this method because sometimes I feel like alcohol can kind of ruin a formula for me. So I've had the experience in the past that when I mix in some alcohol, often it gets then too dry or it gets like hard pan immediately. I don't know. It changes the formula sometimes and I don't want it. Okay, so you really need to take your time with every layer. So far, I think we're looking pretty good. Let me just show you. And we do the same stupid test again. Perfect. Okay. Next test is passed. I mean, the thing is that we do this test now because if it falls out again, we can do it again and nothing happens. But if you take this palette with you or I don't know, I mean, if you drop it, I think it would be the first eyeshadow to break. But if you are like good to your palette, I still think you can bring it with you or something. You just have to be a bit more careful maybe. But it's better to see here if it holds or not. So that's why we do this test. I've noticed here and on this side that it has crept up again a bit. And as mentioned, it's important that there is no product higher on the sides. Because you know, these eyeshadows or eyeshadows in general, but especially matte eyeshadows, they just need one little crack and then the whole thing cracks, kind of. I think you might have noticed that sometime with an eyeshadow, that if it has just one little corner broken, sometimes it destroys the whole eyeshadow. Maybe that's the reason why you need a repressing session. So I would say don't do it maybe for the first time with an eyeshadow you really love. Do it with an eyeshadow that is not that important to you. Oh no! Damn. Okay. And I mean, I think you see it, but I really press down with this part, not with my nail or anything, because it would be too much on the nail, I think. Okay, important is that when you still can feel movement underneath, like if the shadows are still like moving around a bit, then you just have to press again until you don't feel any movement anymore. Okay, so now we're going in with the last and final layer, but we're doing our test again. If it's still sticking to the pan, you did something right. So now the final layer is coming. And see that? It works so beautifully. Okay, now we go in with the last layer. Now I'm just going to roll this thing here together. and then just like get the last eyeshadow in here. Okay, so again, pushing down from the corners. I think now everyone knows. And what's also important if you do something like this, you really have to take your time, because sometimes it just takes longer, especially if you do it for the first time, and you really don't want to be in a rush when doing this, because it kind of doesn't work if you if you're rushed. So really take your time, only do it when you know you have like, I don't know, half an hour or so, and then you can start. Okay, I think it's looking really good. And I think we're not going to add another layer. I'm going to just make my test. I think we're good to go with this one. It's filled to the brim, and I think that's enough to work on in my Pandos Eyeshadows project. If you haven't seen it, I uploaded it a few days ago. I will link it down below if you want to watch it. I'm going to work on this palette here, and for that I wanted to repress some of the eyeshadows in here. So now we're continuing with these two, and I hope that you can see it better now. I think I'm going to mix them together first, and then I'm going to separate a bit of it, and then I mix in other things. Maybe I actually created 3 different shades, because I can also press something into here. Okay, now I'm starting, just doing the same thing as with the black eyeshadow. I'm just starting to like break it off in the pen here, then it comes to the piece of paper, then I make it into a finely mild powder with my card, and then yeah, then we will see. So I'm just going to do that quickly. Okay, now that I have my smooth little powders here, I think I'm going to take like half of this and half of this, and then put 2 halves together kind of, and then mix in something else and mix in something else. Like that's my plan. And I think it's a good plan. Okay, now I think I'm going to try and swatch this one here, just to see if I like the color or if I want to change something. Ah yeah, okay, that's pretty much what I wanted. I wanted to get out of these two, because the brown one is just too warm tone for me, or too, I don't know, the undertone is very yellow and that doesn't look good on me. And the coral is a bit, I don't know, it's very bright and it's just too bright for me to wear it. I love corals, but they have to be a bit lighter. And this shade now, I feel like it has more of like a reddish undertone. It's also like a brown toned corally leaning like transition shade, but I think it will work way better for me this way. So I think that's actually good. I don't have to change anything here. And now I have to decide what else I want to have. I think I want to bring in something from here, because I think I would like another, maybe a bit more darker eyeshadow. What happens if I put in some of the blue? I'm so tempted, but does it look muddy then? I've forgotten everything about color theory. I mean, it has this yellow undertone. Maybe it turns into a green. Are we ready for an experiment? I actually think I am, yes. Okay, so the lighter blue or the... I start with the lighter blue. I'm just like taking a bit out. Okay, now I'm going to mix them and see what happens. I think it could actually turn it into a more cool toned brown, which is basically exactly what I want. I think we need more. It's not cool toned enough. So I'm taking a bit more of the blue, and I think I'm also going to add some of the gray. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, it actually looks cool toned. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. I think I created my first taupey eyeshadow myself. Oh my god, it's perfect! It's all I wanted. I'm super surprised because I really wasn't sure if that works. I think it's my first time that I totally created new eyeshadows for myself. This one here is a true winner. Oh my god, I'm excited. It's like a perfect taupey with some brown base to it still, and then this beautiful, almost blue, cool toned like sheen to it. Really love it. I really, really love it. Okay, so that's definitely number 2. Now let's talk about this one here. I think I want something deeper and more purpley for the last shade. So I think I'm actually going into the Riviera palette and take the purple. So I think I'm going to take a lot of this purple out and put it in here, maybe some of the brown, and then mix them together. No, okay, I can already see that this is not dark enough for me. So what we're doing now is I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics palette again, and I'm taking this deep purple eyeshadow here. It looks like a brown in the pan, but it's actually pulling very purpley. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this eyeshadow on its own. I hope that you have watched my Pandas Eyeshadows intro, because then you know that all of these shades I want to use up. So, like, that's why I'm using them for frankening my new eyeshadows, because they're all eyeshadows I want to use up, all palettes. Okay, my camera stopped somewhere, I don't know where, but we're at this point and I think it's time to swatch it and to see if it's maybe already the eyeshadow I want. And I would say it's a stunning purple that we created and I'm super happy with these 3 shades here. I mean, this one is still very warm toned. I'm kind of thinking about adding something into it that makes it maybe a bit less reddish brown or terracotta-y. But I don't want to do like another one that is mauve or purple. I don't want to do another one that is like the stone color. But I don't know really what I could do with this one. Oh, I have an idea. I'm taking this palette again and I think I put in something from here or maybe all of it. And then we'll see, maybe it lightens it up a bit. That would be great. You know what? I'm just going all in. Okay, so it looks like this. I mean, at least it's lighter, but it's still super warm. What could I do? I don't want to add blue again. I think I'm just pressing it down as it is now, and then I will see if I can still get some use out of it, and if not, I'm just doing this again because why not? Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to do the same thing as with the black. I'm just pressing it into the pans in small thin layers and repeat and repeat. And I'm just going to speed it up for you because you've seen it before, but yeah, I'm just doing it now and I'm super excited for my new eyeshadows. I haven't been like the biggest frankening eyeshadow fan before, or I just never really did it. And seeing this here makes me want to do it again and again and again. So maybe if you're interested in this, maybe I'm doing it again. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going into the pressing part. Okay, and that's now my finished little palette. I'm super excited, especially about these two. They came out so nice. This one here too, but now that I pressed it to this pan, I think it looks a lot like Slate, but it is a bit more, it has a bit more brown in it, which I prefer with the taupe. I don't like plain grays. I love it when they have a bit more brown in them. And it's lighter than Twig, which is always a bit very deep for my crease. So actually I think it's a good eyeshadow for me. I will use it a lot, but like so close to Slate, it looks very similar, but I don't mind that. It worked out beautifully. You have seen I kind of knocked on the desk a lot. Let's do it again. And you see, nothing comes out. I'm so happy. I'm going to swatch my new shades now again, just to show you that they are absolutely perfectly usable. So these are our new frankened and repressed eyeshadows. And these are our eyeshadows. Here I have a stain from, I think it was from this one before. I can't remember what was there, but I couldn't get it off. So yeah, we have a taupe, we have a mauve, we have a peachy, corally, a lighter one, and we have a super deep dark and cool toned brown. I'm super happy. Okay, I hope that this video was helpful for you. Of course, you don't have to use different eyeshadows and franken a new color for you. You can just use it if you have a broken eyeshadow, just whatever you want. You can just take one single eyeshadow and yeah, do the things I showed you in this video, and you see, it will work perfectly. If you want to see any other videos like this, just let me know. You know, I love doing this. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. And I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye!